Hello, my favorite pageant and spooky fans, and welcome to another satisfying deal of Unholy Encounters. This time, I have my favorite role model, my favorite auntie, Saniya Chanel Iman.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm well. I hope you are as well.
I'm doing well, just hanging in there. Another day goes by.
Okay.
So you are a sensation around the Carolinas as an all-time pageant winner. With many crowns under your belt, what has this journey been for you?
This journey's been amazing because every title that I've had has been a stepping point in my career. It it just makes me look back and see like the little girl I started from into the woman that I am today and the entertainer that I am today. And it just brings me so much joy that I've made the progress that I've made and I've gotten into a way to get into people's hearts and minds and make some not only some good friends but some good memories.
I'm so proud of you. Like, I remember the first time seeing you on stage, I was like, that's
Oh,
what I want. Because I was a theater major, not getting into drag. And I'm like, that's what I want because I never saw drag before.
and back in those days, God help us all.
Yeah. Well, how has it felt receiving so much love over the years from everyone?
It feels rewarding and it puts you in a standpoint where you realize how valuable you are to this life and to this lifestyle and to the world, that people receive you in that manner and reciprocate that energy back to you, sometimes even tenfold. It just makes me feel like I was put on this earth, but I was put on this earth to be one of the nice people.
You deserve all the love that you received, though.
Well, thank you. My cup is full.
Yes.
As you sip from yours. Six
Yeah.
things.
I had to.
I love a good, ironic, lovely played out little gimmick. Live.
Well, we have so much to talk about.
Ooh, so
Time
let's
for my
dish.
favorite segment we call spilling hot tea.
Mm, let's dish.
So before we dive into the hot tea, let's talk about your win last year at Miss Gay North Carolina America.
Okay.
How was the win to win that prestigious crown?
It was it was just so breathtaking because I've dreamed of being Miss North Carolina for years, ever since I started drag. And to finally do it the first time and get second alternate on my first time in the system and at that particular prelim was so lifting because I knew that I was almost close to the finish line, but
One,
almost there. Like when you do it on your first time,
and five, four, three, two. So winning Miss Gay North Carolina America, what was it like?
it was breathtaking because I've always dreamt of being Miss North Carolina ever since I started back in 2015. And when I finally did the pageant the first time in 2022 and got second alternate, it made me feel like I was on the right path because it's my first time in the system
Mhm.
and I'm so close. So as soon as we packed up the car and I was hitting it back to Greensboro, just started planning again. And then to not only win, but to win every category against some fierce competition, it made me feel like I have arrived.
So this is a side note question, and this might go directly into my follow-up. Does Auntie ever plan to get on Continental like Sasha Colby or like Brooklyn Heights?
Ooh, continental. Oh, in the words of my mother, Miss Malaya Chanel Iman, that would be the last pageant system that I do. I feel like you got to be ready for Continental,
Yeah.
especially because Continental moves so fast. You got to be ready to be Miss Continental. So you got to change at the drama of it. At the drama of that.
I've seen a lot from you, so I was like, let me just throw that question in there.
Mhm. That's hot tea for you.
So we get to winning the title and then having the opportunity to travel. What was it like competing at the national level?
national level was expensive. That's how it felt.
I know
Very
that's
expensive.
right.
But that was breathtaking as well. Being on the national level of one of the most prestigious titles in the drag industry and getting to meet so many different people from all different states, all different mindsets, all different economical backgrounds, and be able to relate on a certain level with some because we're all competing with each other for the same thing. Then you have people that used to competed or people that are interested in competing, and then you just have supporters from all over. You just you're just thrown into a whirlpool of just different personalities, but there'll be different personalities that you can click with.
Just for
And
like types of drag, right?
yes, and that was an experience all in itself. That was the win all in its own.
I know
Mhm.
you like to travel with like competitions too, so see places.
Not. I don't
You
like to travel too much. Not too much.
if it's
No.
worth the money, that's the case.
If it's worth the cause, yes.
So we get to how has it been building camaraderie with your American sisters and competing together at such a high level?
Oh my God, it is beautiful. Most of my sisters are idols that I looked up to growing up. And now to be able to call them sister, mm, it's that I have arrived feeling. And it takes you to a higher level. But then also, you're at a higher level because you got to compete with them every time that we come together for the review shows and for the brunches and stuff. But in all, it puts a smile on my face. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy. This sisterhood has been amazing.
I'm glad to see you happy and that you have an American family. So
Yeah.
so take us through the creative process that went into presentation when preparing for Miss Gay America.
Okay, so let's gas up the car, shall we? Preparation is just like with any pageant. Go for the highest or the most expensive category first and work your way down. And technically, that would be evening gown in a regular pageant or a prelim, but nationals is a little bit different because you want to show out. It costs to show out. So start preparing for that. Start doing rehearsals and preparing for that with choreographers if you need it, or backup dancers, any add-ons, prop making, costume designing. Start preparing all of that early because that is what takes a village. Like for evening gown, it's just me in a gown. But for town, it could be me and 10 other people, five holding props. Like that's expensive because you're taking people's time. So start planning for that. Then, like I said, start working your way down and really mapping out what it is that you want to do or what it is that you want to present based on the guidelines of the pageant.
So what I'm hearing
And
is you want to start preparing early.
yeah, yes, like I said, preparing to win this, I started as soon as we packed up the car. So I had a full 365 days to start preparing and present my best self.
And you did. I still say you did, okay? At my heart.
I
Seeing
did, I
what your
did.
nieces, I still say you did.
Just gotta dust off, dust off the pen.
Well, we get into your talent segment, which was phenomenal because I saw that one on the video. But what was the concept and how did it execute to this new level, competing at the national level?
So the concept started because that was a talent that I did with a different system when I competed for Miss Gay US of A newcomer back in 2019. That was the talent that I selected. But when I decided to switch over systems, reading the systems guidelines and doing a little bit of research, I decided to change it up a little bit to not only fit the system, but still show me.
Yeah.
Because you got to show why you're perfect for the system and why the system is perfect for you. So my talent this time was modeled after, okay, let's change a little bit of elements to appease and, really fit into the system. But let's also still show me and what it is that I do when it comes to drag.
Mhm. I think what you
And
always told me when it comes to pageants, you're like, okay, this is the pageant. What does Samara do?
hmm
Because you always said stay true to yourself.
that's what makes it unique. every reign is unique because every reign is a different queen and a different perspective of drag.
So we get into how did you feel after seeing your scores? That's the bad part.
Look, it was my first time. I wasn't mad whatsoever because I was in the top 20 or the top half of the girl. I was ecstatic because I was competing with girls that have been in the system for years, some that made top 10. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I was right there before the number 20. So I didn't have that many other girls in front of me. So I was like, okay, it lets me know that I am a strong competitor like I think I am. So let's just get stronger.
You did get stronger, and I've seen like from your progress. Like Malaya used to show me those like old drag photos of you, and she's like, "Look at how much Auntie progressed." I'm like, I'm trying to get that way too.
God, why is she showing all these pictures? I have got to take her phone from her and put her in a nursing home. Shady Pines is yet called. Matter of fact, that's what I'm doing after this. Scheduling an appointment with Shady Pines. See if they have an early retirement program.
Well, to follow up with that, what were your emotions when you didn't win at the national level, and how did you handle that situation?
My emotions, they were steady. Um, they were fine because I know every girl can be beat, and every girl has a day where she hasn't presented her best self, or there's just a day that somebody's best is better than yours, which is fine because your best is going to be better than somebody else's. It just it made me feel like, okay, I didn't win this time, but I got bitten by the pageant bug again a little bit harder when I was there because of my experience. So it reminds me of what Dexasy says, Forever Miss Gay America 2022. Denied. Well, delayed, not denied. So
A good like follow up to like with that though.
yeah, there's a couple titles that I've won that I had to do multiple times. It's, it's not like it's rare. So
I know what you always told me, pageants are like very hard, and that's what I was like, I am not a pageant girl, but all my family is, so this is gonna be the hard one to tell everybody.
listen, don't feel bad. I lost my first pageant and I looked directly at Malaya and said, I don't like this feeling. Can I just be a showgirl?
What she
I,
say?
and I was gonna go for it. She didn't really say anything. She just knew that I was just in my feelings at the time for losing a pageant. You know, I was young. I was like 21. So, losing something was a little hard, but I grew out of that, as you can see.
Yeah.
You get the itch. You see the girls, you see what they get to pull out, you see what they get to do.
I think with like Orlando, it's like different because you're like you have glamorous and then glamorous newcomer, and I'm like, I am not ready for that level yet.
Mhm. Oh, anybody can get there.
But so we get into 2024.
Okay.
You're preparing for your own crowning moment at your give up this year. What are your
Mm.
reflections on your journey?
Oh God, it gets me teary-eyed every time to see that the love that I've received here, the respect that I've received, the care that I received, the memories that we've created as far as girls working the shows, the show directors, the patrons. It it makes me cry every time. I'm not gonna do it today because I got on too much waterproof stuff, so you're not gonna see no tear. But it makes me cry. It really makes me cry, and I'm not a crier. Scorpios don't really cry too much.
It's more tears of joy with that moment that you
Yeah,
you
it's
did
all tears
deserve
of
though.
joy.
You really
All tears
deserve
of
it.
joy.
So how's the support mentioning Malaya so many times? How's the support from Grandma Malaya Chanel Iman and your drag family besides just me influence your career over the years?
It keeps me going. It
Mm.
lets me know that there's people that look up to me to continue this family name. There's people that look up to me to better themselves. And it just makes me remember that I'm doing this for somebody else too. It's not just for me. I need to be the best that I can be. But
for the first time in drag, you literally told me you're like, "Yep, you don't look good as hell," and then 5 years later, here we are.
sounds like something I would have said. Yeah. Guilty.
I will tell the fans if they don't mind. My auntie will get you right. She will.
I feel like everybody should be right when they step out on stage. You're already about to be judged about the homosexuals and some heterosexuals and some pansexuals and all the sexuals. Might as well look the best.
But I will tell you this to follow up with that. Without your advice, I wouldn't be here today. Continuing drag, so because I like I always told you, you were my first drag artist that I ever saw in life because I was shuttered. But when I saw you, I was like, that's my role model. That's who I love. Can I be in this family? Didn't know Serenity would come down the line, but that's another story we tell in that interview. No, it's okay. You know us family, we throw shade at each other.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am just an angel to all of my family members.
But yes, I will say with that, Auntie, I am so proud of you and congratulations.
Well, thank you, darling.
So, a big question on everyone's mind, and I know this one is on my mind too. Are we ever going to see you compete at another level like RuPaul's Drag Race?
You'll just have to keep your ear to the ground and listen.
I know I've been like waiting because I keep telling like my friends, I'm like, this is who deserves to be on there. I'm waiting for that opportunity.
All I can say is keep waiting, but keep
I
waiting.
mean, I guess like me, I saw it after like Saphira and then Sasha Colby, and I'm like, Auntie can get on there one day, if we're gonna be honest.
Keep waiting, but wait and see. That's all I can say.
Yes. Well, you always do amazing work. And not only that, but you put so much effort into the station of drag, not only for yourself, but for your fans. So I will say thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
So let's get into drag persona and style.
All right.
So you always look stunning. Can you share what goes into bringing the phenomenon of your drag persona to life?
As I sit here and look at all the makeup around, and that's all trial and error, practice, and more practice. That's really it. Anything that you can do and you want to be stunning at, it just takes practice. Even if you have the natural born ability, you can still hone that ability to even be more successful, more excellent. It's just practice. I give myself 2 hours before each time that I need to be either leaving there or getting to the venue. I always give myself 2 hours. Usually I don't take 2 hours to do my makeup, but I still like to give myself 2 hours just in case. I be feeling it sometimes and oh, okay, let me take my time. Let me make sure I look like somebody. Not just somebody, but somebody.
No,
So
it's good that you give yourself extra time too, because
oh God,
anything can
yes.
happen in that time.
Anything can happen. Yes. Especially on the way to the gig. Get
Yeah.
pulled over. Child, you need extra time so you can receive that ticket. Because as soon as they see makeup, they be like, "Oh, yeah, let's give this one a ticket."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like today, tech issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get to your beautiful garments over the many years you've done drag. What is the process in designing or selecting the outfits and the inspiration behind them?
You gotta select something that speaks to you, speaks to your eye, your creativity, your aesthetic. It just speaks to you so much. You gotta pick it. So you really got to know exactly what aesthetic that you're trying to give off. Like every detail of your aesthetic needs to be thought out. So when it comes to picking costumes and garments, you know exactly that's what speaks to you and that's what works for you. We're creating it. You got to have a good vision, but The vision comes from your aesthetic and your creativity and your imagination.
So do you ever sew, or is it like designers that like do your outfits for you?
I want to learn how to sew just to say that I can in case I do get on said show. Hint, hint. Um, but I also will use designers because I believe in supporting people.
Mhm.
So, and what better way to support than putting your talents out there to be seen?
Mhm. It's good. Now we're having a lot of like drag designers nowadays that were like, we like drag artists more compared to like wearing the Vogue fashion. Like, okay, so before we take our first break, I do want to play a game with you.
Okay.
It's called Witchy Would You Rather. So how this game works, because I know our family loves to be witches over here. I'm gonna ask you a series of fun and spooky witchy would you rather questions. You just have to pick one of the two options and tell us why. Are you ready?
Ready.
Would you rather have the power to perfectly predict the outcome of every pageant you enter or be able to transform into any drag persona instantly?
Drag persona. Gotta pick that.
What's
Because
that?
especially if I know what the pageant calling for, I can go into the perfect persona.
So we have, would you rather perform a lip sync battle with your all-time favorite pop star or act in a witchy horror movie with your favorite horror icon?
Of course, I love acting. Gotta do that. That's another way to get me on the big screen.
Who would the horror icon be?
Oh, Ghostface. I'm a Scream fanatic. Chucky was a close second, but it got to be Ghostface.
Now, would you be the final girl or like one of the others?
Now, why would you think I want to be one that dies in the movie? Then my check gets cut. I would love to be the final girl. I'm an all powerful witch. What you come over here if you want to?
Yes.
Abracadabra, you're gone.
Now, would you rather cast a spell to instantly win any drag competition or cast a spell to have the most loyal fan base ever?
Fan base. I can win a pageant on my own. I don't need magic for that. But I would love to create an instant fan base or a bigger fan base.
Okay, so the next one I have, would you rather have a wardrobe that magically updates itself with the latest fashion trends or a makeup kit that never runs out of any product?
Oh no, that's tricky. That's tricky. I never have to go back into Ulta again. I would say the wardrobe. Makeup can last me a little while, but trends change every damn day.
Yes.
Got to update that. So I picked
Every year
that.
they come out with something new.
Yeah, exactly. And this makeup can last me for a good while if I use it right.
Okay, so now I have, would you rather have a pet black cat that can talk and give you advice like Salem or a magical broomstick that can take you anywhere you want to go?
I already have a black cat named Salem here, so I would choose the broomstick. He's actually taking a little nap right now.
Oh,
But if you check my lives on Facebook, you'll always see that sometimes he likes to come in the camera.
I always see that he like jumps up and you're like, oh, well.
Yes, exactly. So since I already have a black cat named Salem, I would take the broomstick.
Mhm. So would you rather be able to perform any song flawlessly without ever needing to practice or be able to sew any outfit perfectly without ever needing a pattern?
Lip sync. I got designers for all of that. So, but I need, mhm, I need my lip sync
You need
because
your
only I can do it. So
Okay, so would you rather host your own nationally televised drag show or star in a reality TV show about your life as a drag queen and witch?
I would do the reality TV. I feel like hosting the show is so scripted, but reality is me. I ain't
What
gotta
would the
remember
show
too
be
much.
called about Saniya?
Which way?
That's a good like choice.
Mm-hmm.
So would
There's
you
a new
rather
there's
no,
there's a new season of Which Way on Let's Go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
wasn't every which way actually a show too?
Mm, nah, I don't think so.
I think I saw that somewhere, but besides the point. Would you rather create a signature spell that makes everyone who sees you in drag fall in love with your performance, or a potion that ensures you never have a bad hair day?
I would do a potion. I don't like to cast spells on people. It comes back on you tenfold, and whether it be good or bad, you don't want nothing coming back on you, even if you're just trying to do a good spell. I'm just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I don't need to be reciprocated for that. So just give me a potion, especially because now I'm changing the way I do my hair now. So yeah,
Yeah, I've been seeing like you wear a lot of like recently like short like hair. What goes behind that? I always
I,
want to ask that to you.
I love short hair because you can do a lot with short hair still, but also it doesn't get caught in the sequence of the stones, so I don't have to worry about fixing it later.
So you don't have to worry about that. Me, because I like big hair all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Now I will still get me a piece of hair. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
just love a good little short mom hair, especially now that I got 4 kids.
So the last one I have before we take our first break, would you rather collaborate on a drag performance with a legendary queen from the past or a famous witch from folklore?
Famous witch from folklore.
Which one would that be?
I would have to choose Maleficent. She's my all-time favorite.
The Dark Fairy right there.
Dark fairy, right there. She's not a villain. A villain is just someone whose story has not been told.
Yes.
Mm,
Well, with that, I am going to have a 10-minute break, fans. 40. Okay, back in 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, Sanaya. Now I need you to ride with me through the underworld portals as we
okay.
journey to the past. And we're here. So, we are back in Westfield, New Jersey, walking down the street. What was little Sanaya like as a kid?
I was one of those ones where I really, I mean, I had friends, but I was a little introverted as a little boy. All I had was my mom. My older sisters were 16 and 8 years older than me, so didn't really get to see my older sister like that. I did see her, but just not like that. So it was me and the middle sister, and it was good. But as I gotten older, I started reaching out. Started playing with my cousins more when I was, growing up, and then middle school, and then eventually got to high school and started branching into the somewhat social butterfly I am today.
So was there any like notice of like a fabulous queen brewing right there?
Oh God, no, not at all. It wasn't until I got the freedom of college and started experiencing a lot.
Mhm. So during high school, at Pike High School, what was it like navigating life as a gay kid? Like, did you face challenges, or how did you overcome them?
I was in the closet until about the 11th grade. So I didn't really run into too many obstacles. It wasn't until I started 10th grade where like I slowly started like not come out, but like just show myself a little bit more and more.
Mhm.
Um, but there wasn't really too many obstacles. I wasn't in a bad town for homosexuals, so not too much.
Well, we talked about when you came out. You said 11th grade. What was that experience for you?
Now, let me be clear. When I say came out, it was like, oh, I came out to my friends. It wasn't until like I came out to everybody.
Mhm.
It was only to like my friends and non-family members. You get the typical, oh, we knew for a while now. So I was just like, oh, okay. But it felt really relieving to know, like, I didn't really have to hide as much.
You
Because
really.
to me, coming out was a process. It was levels to coming out.
Mhm. So fast forward to today, how do you feel about finding relationships and navigating your life?
Relationships are a little special. It is difficult being an entertainer because not everybody understands the lifestyle. Um, it's also difficult, being an HIV survivor because not everybody's as educated as you would hope. Um, it's a little, it's like a waiting game. You gotta wait for the right one. You gotta just be like a lion hovering in the grass and just wait, ready for that one opportunity or that one person to walk by and just pounce.
I know that one person, like I always got told to me by Serenity, I know that one person is out there for you. And I'm gonna say this, it's just not on your pathway just yet. It's gonna come, but eventually.
Yeah, I saw that in my crystal ball. So
And then we get into what sexuality do you identify with now, and how has that journey reflected in your self-discovery evolved over the years?
well, everybody knows it's very homo around here. Um, it hasn't been too bad. I look at myself and I do smile because I'm just portraying what's all in this mind up here. It's real good. It's been a journey, yes. A lot of ups and downs, but it's nothing I can't handle. Just gotta keep being the person that I am.
It's good that you have a support system too.
Yeah. Big support system.
So we get into where, when, and how did you get started into drag?
When picture it. Raleigh, North Carolina, 2015. Um, See, it's funny because I did mention this the other day when I was on the microphone and I was talking to Malay. I was like, you remember those days of me cross dressing first? It was a wig, those 3D glasses that you got from the movie theater with the lens popped out, a little blazer, a tank top, a little pencil skirt, and some platform heels with some shaved legs. No pantyhose, no tights, just shaved legs. Eyebrows was the fool, no makeup on. Yeah, that was the start of I would say that was the embryo of Sanaya. But being around a certain group of people is how I met Malaya because I met some of her grandkids and I was hanging with them and then eventually, I would see the shows and I would walk outside, go smoke with well, I didn't smoke at the time. But be around my friends that were smoking, just all out there. And then I started to hang out with Malaya for like group events. Like they would come to Greensboro for something and they would invite her. So, got to, meet and hang out with her. And then that's when I started getting interested in the drag, like real drag.
Yes.
And then me and her had a conversation one day. She laid down the groundwork for being a newcomer under her family. And lo and behold,
Here we are today.
here we are today. Lashes, makeup, and a nice little sequin outfit.
Yes. I always wanted to like ask this though. This question wasn't on there, but I know our family is so big you can never tell which is which.
Mhm.
But how did you, the one person I really wanted to know, how did you get to know grandmother Ivy Carter?
I met her when after I started drag, was coming up to chemistry here in Greensboro, and she was a patron at the time, and her personality, my personality, because they're so big and so loud and so open and so extroverted, and we like to party. Like I used to come up to chemistry, even out of drag, just come and have a good time. The music that was playing was the stuff that I was listening to and loved to, you know, twerk, as the people used to call it back in my day.
Yes.
And she was the same. So of course, with a loud personality, a big personality, you see somebody having a good time getting a little piece on the dance floor, you hype them up. So we hyped each other up every time we saw each other do our little ones and twos, and that's how it started.
See,
And
I always
then
saw you guys as like the drag besties, and I'm like, I'm glad that I have this in my
we
family.
were, we were, especially after she became Malaya's daughter. We
I
were.
especially remember the times after parties at like Saniya's and Ivy's house.
More so it was at the Ivy's house. I don't know about my house. At a certain hour, I like to go to bed, and I hate to have to kick everybody out, but you got to go.
Yes. So if we get into after that, how did it feel the first time you put on the makeup and stepped out to perform? What were the emotions and thoughts running through your mind?
Is this really for me? I look a fool. Is everybody else gonna think I look a fool? And I hope I don't fall in these big heels. Those are the thoughts that ran through my head. I remember them to this day because I was nervous.
What was this first song you did?
Um, it's a Kelly Rowland song. You've changed.
That's
That's
a
what it
good
was.
song to pick for your first one, though.
That was the first time I ever put on a gown. It was Malaya's gown back when I was that size, skinny. And yeah,
So
that
was
was
it
it.
talent shows or pageants first?
No, it was talent shows. Malaya had a strict rule. You had to start off in talent shows first.
Mhm.
So that's the route that I went, which I'm so thankful for because it helped me build my stage presence. It helped me build how to read a room, how to entertain for a room.
We get
Those
into
were the
we
days.
get into now. She's a multiple pageant time winner.
Yeah, hey, chill.
So if we have to talk about who were your early drag inspirations?
Malaya was one. My best friend Paris, Nicole Brooks Bonet, her grandmother, Jasmine Brooks,
Mhm.
Vivian Vaughn, Forever Miss Gay North Carolina America 2015. Those were my idols at the time. Chloe Cassidy, Forever Miss Gay North Carolina America 2016. Those were my idols. Those are who I wanted to be as far as entertainment. And then when I started looking into pageantry, those are the girls that I modeled myself to want to be like.
So we always saw a little pageant girl with Sanaya right there.
Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning. I just wanted to be a show queen, and then one of the talent shows I did was one of those prelims to a little bar title or a newcomer title, and I was like, once I lost that, I was like, I don't like this. Can I be a showgirl? But mm,
Well, can you walk us through the evolution of drag persona and how Saniya Chanel Iman has changed from the early days to now?
it's just been performing,
Mhm.
but it also is the mindset of you look at drag in two different ways. You look if you want to imitate a woman or if you want to imitate a man in drag. And I gravitated towards the woman
Yeah.
because to me that was the ultimate transformation from one sex to another. And that's the type of magic that I said that I wanted to work. So I started to model my drag after, fooling the people thinking I'm real fish, but then, just tell them at the end of the day, like, no, I'm not real fish. I'm just a man in makeup, but still. And that mixing in with pageants, that created the girl that you see today. You think about every detail, but you also want to think about how you want to be portrayed. So yeah,
So how would you classify your drag persona?
glamorous. I love to look like glamour.
I think like Serenity told me all the time, she was like, you're the only queen out of the whole family that steps out of like side of the box because my drag artistry is more gender fluid club kid mixed with like more like alternative. And she's like, yeah, you're out of the box. She's like, everybody wants to be like glamorous over here and dancing queen, and you're the only child that I had that was like, no, that's not my like art.
Sounds like Serenity.
Well, we get into your pageant journey. You win your first pageant in 2018 for Miss East Tennessee. And since then, you participated in and won many pageants. Did you approach each pageant differently every time? And what aspects of your strategy or preparation evolved with each competition?
No, I went into every pageant just the same. Go in here and just be the best that you can while proving this is what you want and why you want it. Preparation, it's the same almost with every pageant. You got to look at the rules, you got to look at the guidelines, you got to look at what they're looking for and really mold your creativity around that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to mold your vision around that of how you can portray what they're asking for, but like I said earlier, how to portray you.
More about like if my fans can take anything, if there's aspiring drag queens, be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Because at the end of the day, why would you be a carbon copy of somebody else or a group? Be you.
So what do you think was the driving force that made you, as a drag artist, want to participate in pageants? Was there a specific moment or inspiration?
It was the movement that pageantry creates. It wanted me to be a more polished version, a more better version of myself, a more respected version of myself. And when I say respected, respected internally and externally. It made me want to be bookable. It made me want to learn the business a little bit more, and that I did. When I started doing pageants is when drag started turning from a hobby to a job. Because then that's when you started to work because you knew you were the representation of a establishment, of a legacy. So you knew you had to want to look your best because if not, you're just tarnishing that brand. Not only your brand, but the brand of what you're representing.
So when preparing for pageants, what goes through your mind? What's the process and key elements that you focus on?
I focus on how can I keep my package revolved around my aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's about as cookie cutter as I can get for it. Just as long as it's still modified around my drag aesthetic.
Around like who you are, like I think one advice that you gave me to follow up with what you just said is take what they give you, but also how does that separate with what you can do as Samara Hex Di'Angelo?
Yes.
I'll
Exactly.
tell you guys, this what her and Malaya always got me fucking wanting to do fucking pageants, and then we saw how that happened. I went another route. I'm sorry, Auntie, okay?
Everybody's journey is different.
I will say this to my fans to follow up with like my auntie. I wanted to show the world that we have gender fluidity drag out there, and that wasn't something I could do with where I was coming from. So that's why I'm glad I like moved. But without having the North Carolina family that I had, Samara wouldn't be here today.
Mm.
So I thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, years later, you won titles like Miss Chemistry, Miss Heartbeat, Miss Gay Roanoke, Miss Gay North Carolina America, among many others. What is that moment like when you start to reflect on the number of pageant crowns you've accumulated?
Oh God. It really makes me see the progress that I've done, progress that I've overcome, because I look at all the representation of myself in these different parts of the community and my impact on that. And it, mm, it just makes my heart good. Makes me smile even harder.
Like I said, it always makes me happy. Not only when you win a pageant crown, but when I used to see you perform. It sucks that I can't see you anymore because of different states. Hopefully, I'll come back to North Carolina because every time you perform, I even knew when I would bring friends down there, they'd be like, I love that like artist. Who is she? Like, I think that's the first time I showed Kendall who you were, and he was like, I'm like, that's my auntie right there. Like
I'm
proud to see you on stage, like every time.
all right. I'm all right. I just get the job done. I get the smiles on people's faces and then I hit it.
Well, like I told you, you've always been a role model for me. So
Oh, well, that makes my heart smile. Thank you.
so we have a last game of the night, and it's called Pageant Pep Talk.
Mm,
And how you
okay.
play this game, we're gonna dive into drag pageantry and help newcomers navigate the fabulous, fierce world of drag. So we got some scenarios that a fresh-faced queen might encounter when entering the scene. We want to
Okay.
hear your advice, insights, and of course, the shade thrown in there.
Mm, okay. Let's turn the shade button on.
So scenario one, first time on stage. There's a newcomer in the drag scene, and tonight is their first ever performance at a local club. They're feeling both excited and nervous. They prepared a number, what they're passionate about, but they notice another queen is performing something similar right before them. How do they handle it?
Keep going. Your drag is different than their drag. Your stage presence is different than their stage presence. And also, the song is different. It could be similar all at once, but it's different. Girl, go out there and do the dang thing. Go out there and make your coin and stop crying.
Yeah. I remember I had the same thing happen to me in North Carolina when everybody was like, I'm gonna do Bring Me to Life. I have an essence for Halloween. I'm like, fuck.
Try it when you and another contestant in a pageant are modeling to the same song.
Oh, I cannot.
That is different when it's the same song.
See,
I
that's
hope y'all
why
like
when
this
I pick
song.
That's when I picked my songs. I wanted to go with something like two Y, who's like my very epic cover, does like a lot of instrumentals. So I'm like, what can I show us hella but show 2WI at the same time?
Right.
So we have scenario two, the pageant panic.
Okay.
They entered their first drag pageant and it's a week before the big night. Suddenly they realize their gown isn't ready and their makeup artist is canceled on them. What's their next move?
You better shop around. Shop around, shop around. Uh, it's the week before. You better start hopping on the phone to all your good girlfriends. Hey, you got anything I can wear? Hey, can we do some makeup prep? Or hey, how do you feel about painting me real quick, girl? You just gotta. It's the week before. Anything can happen. Anything can happen the day before. You have a week. You got time. Slow down and weigh your options out. That's the thing. When stuff goes wrong, you got to have options. So that's why you always got to have a plan B, C, D, L, M, N, O, P. So,
I think what I've always wanted to ask you, you and Malaya always gave me the advice that you need your own makeup artist. Why? Why? I was wondering why was that?
um, hmm.
It's not shade to me. I learned, but I'm talking about like those newcomers, like from like the fans.
Oh no. I don't even think you should really. You can take notes from a makeup artist, but mm, I like to paint myself because at the end of the day, this is what you're gonna get.
Mm,
This is what you're gonna get the whole reign. So might as well be just yeah.
yeah, I know you need your own costume though.
That would be nice.
Yes. Scenario three: shade or no shade? They're backstage at their first major drag competition. Another contestant throws some shade their way, questioning whether they're ready for this level of competition. How do they respond?
Um, hmm, I wouldn't even know, to be honest with you. Go out there. Okay. Hold on. Can we go back to that?
No, it's okay. We can let's go to scenario 4. We go back to that later.
Okay.
So we have the new girl at a club. They're new in town and they just started performing at a popular club.
Okay.
The regular queens aren't too welcoming and seem to view them as a competition. How do they navigate this?
You gotta remember, even though you are new, you gotta be true to you and you gotta be confident in you. Every girl can look like competition, but is it really competition?
Mhm.
Competition to me technically is a mind state that you gotta get out of. Just go out there and do it. She'd be all right.
As long as you be yourself and show out the best you can.
Right.
So before I go back to scenario 3, let's go to scenario 5. We have critique corner. After a performance, they receive harsh critiques from the judges that they feel are unfair. How do they handle the feedback?
If you feel like it's unfair, really get to the nitty-gritty of why that judge gave you that critique.
Mhm.
Um, because most of the time you may think it's harsh because sometimes you're still in your feelings from not winning and not, getting to the top, that anything constructive can seem hurtful because you're already hurting yourself. Sometimes harsh critiques are just we're perceiving them to be harsh when it could just be it's just not sugar coated. It's drag. You got to hear the cold hard truth because at the end of the day, sometimes you cross over to where drag is a business, and businesses are very cutthroat.
Yeah.
So take it for what it is, really listen to it, dissect it, and either apply it or throw it in the trash and keep moving.
I think what you always like told me, you're like, you're gonna get critiques, but if you can't apply it to yourself, throw the rest away.
Hmm. Sounds like another thing I've said.
I told you, you gave me a lot of advice over the last 4 to 5 years. What else can I say? I mean, like I said, you've always been the drag mentor slash drag auntie because when Serenity went through that car crash, which we'll talk about later on. It's okay. I'm being shady to mama. You know how much she is
Mhm.
shady to me, so it's okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Just know I had no parts.
So we have scenario 3. So if they're backstage at their first major drag competition, another contestant throws some shade their way, questioning whether they're ready for this level of competition. How do they respond?
Girl, tell them and is I'm here, ain't I? Girl, tell that girl to sit down somewhere and worry about putting that glue on the nails and go and make sure that jewelry piece don't fall off. Girl, don't be worried about me. Am I ready for this? Are you ready? Is the question. That is exactly how you handle that.
Yeah.
Because you got to be confident. So you got to go for it. Like I said earlier, go for it.
Mhm. Go for it. Go out there. Show out the best you can.
Show them who you are.
Well, thank you, Saniya, for sharing your wisdom with us in Pageant Playbook. Newcomers, take note. These tips might help a newcomer snatch the crown someday.
Good.
Well, last question I have for you, Auntie. Looking back at your entire drag journey, what are you most proud of? Is there a particular moment, achievement, or experience that stands out as the pinnacle of your career?
My most biggest achievement is being Miss Gay North Carolina America. The journey throughout almost 10 years You get ups and downs, highs and lows, good days and bad days. You know, good tipping crowds, good money making night. You thinking you could have stayed home. You have all of those. And it's okay to have all of those because it comes with the business, it comes with reality. But the person that I am, I'm grateful for the opportunities because there are a whole lot of other people that could have been presented the same opportunity, but they chose me. They chose me to come entertain. They chose me to come host their show. They chose me to be a part of something big. And then I get to share my love of entertainment, drag, making people laugh, making people smile. I get to share that with other people and they've received that well. And they've received that well these last 9 years. It makes me feel like that I do have a purpose. This may not be the purpose I intended, but it's still showing me that I got a purpose.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I do want to follow it up with I love you. It has been absolutely wonderful getting to chat with you today. And thank you for always being that role model and mentor to me.
Of course.
Before we wrap up, is there anything you like to plug or promote? Any upcoming shows, projects, or social media where our fans can follow you?
Yes, make sure you do follow me on Facebook, Saniya Chanel Iman, or you can follow me on Instagram at the Glamazonian Doll 11, because 11 is my favorite number. And make sure that you just catch me when you can.
And I will be tagging her social media like in the video on YouTube and also on Spotify as well.
Yeah. Yes, let's make magic together. Let's have a good time. Let's drag.
I'm still gonna make your poster too.
Yeah, let's make a poster too.
Well, thank you for so much for joining me today, Auntie. Your wisdom, talent, and charisma always inspires me. I love you, and I can't wait to see what amazing things you do next.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And I will say thank you to my fans, and thank you to Sania's fans out there, or newcomers to Sania's fans out there. This has been
Thank you.
Unholy Encounters.
Thank you all so much.